Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Shock, heartbreak, and questions that refuse to fade. The sudden death of Yu Menglong has shaken the entertainment world to its core. But today on Update X24H, we dive deeper, beyond the headlines, beyond the rumors, to uncover the real reason behind his mysterious passing, and why his legacy will never be forgotten. The announcement of Yu Menglong's passing struck like a sudden storm, leaving the entertainment world in disbelief. For many, it was not just news. It was a personal wound that cut deep into the hearts of millions who admired him. He was more than a star. To his audience, he was a source of comfort, a reminder that sincerity and kindness could exist even in an industry often criticized for its harshness. When the news spread across platforms, the shock quickly turned into a wave of mourning that transcended borders. In China, fans gathered in quiet vigils, lighting candles and singing his songs in trembling voices. Beyond his homeland, the story captured international headlines, with hashtags carrying his name rising to global trends. From Seoul to Los Angeles, Tokyo to Paris, the sense of loss was the same. What made this grief so powerful was not only the suddenness of his departure, but also the image he left behind. Yu Menglong was known for his humility, for his dedication to his craft, and for the warmth with which he treated those around him. This was not a distant celebrity. He was someone who made fans feel seen and valued. The shock was amplified by the contrast between his radiant presence on screen and the silence that followed his absence. The entertainment industry, so often buzzing with glamour and ambition, seemed to pause in reverence. His passing reminded everyone that behind the spotlight is a fragile human being, one whose absence can echo louder than any performance. The shockwave of his death was not just about losing an actor, but about losing a voice of hope, sincerity, and inspiration. When news of Yu Menglong's passing spread, the voices that rose in grief were not distant statements but heartfelt confessions from those who had walked beside him. Among them, Tian Xuning spoke with a trembling honesty that revealed both shock and admiration. He recalled the first time he met Yu Menglong, a moment etched into memory because of the words his senior had shared. Simple yet powerful encouragement to never give up, no matter how uncertain the path ahead might be. In those words, Tian had found courage, and now, in mourning, he realized just how deeply those lessons had shaped his journey. His tribute was not only an expression of sorrow but a reminder of the quiet influence Yu Menglong had carried, mentoring without fanfare, guiding without expecting recognition. Ziyu, equally devastated, revealed another layer of this loss. For him, Yu Menglong was not only a colleague, but a role model whose kindness had set the standard for how one should live and work in an industry that so often demands compromise. His message, written with raw pain, described the late actor as a light, someone who radiated sincerity and warmth in a world that could feel relentlessly cold. These words echoed far beyond social media, becoming a mirror of the collective grief of fans who saw their own emotions reflected in the tears of those closest to him. The resonance of their tributes lay in their truthfulness. They did not glorify him with empty praise, but spoke of genuine encounters, small moments of encouragement, and the humanity that defined Yu Menglong. In their grief, Tian Xuning and Ziyu reminded the world that his legacy was not only in the roles he played or the songs he sang, but in the quiet, personal ways he lifted others. That is why their voices carried such power, because they were not only mourning a star, but honoring a mentor, a friend, and a guide whose influence would continue long after his passing. The mourning that followed Yu Menglong's passing was not confined to screens or headlines. It became a living, breathing movement that spanned cities and crossed oceans. Fans who had once celebrated his dramas and cheered at his concerts now gathered in silence, united by grief. In Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, candlelight vigils turned the streets into sanctuaries of remembrance, where voices once lifted in joy now trembled with sorrow as they sang the songs he had left behind. Beyond China, the impact was no less profound. In Seoul, Tokyo, Paris, and Los Angeles, strangers who had never met came together, holding banners with his name and sharing the same aching sense of loss. Hashtags bearing his memory surged across social media platforms, yet these were not mere trends, they were digital memorials, each post a testament to the lives he had touched. What made this collective mourning so powerful was the intimacy of the stories shared. Fans wrote about how his acting gave them courage during lonely nights, how the lyrics of his songs offered comfort when life felt unbearable. To them, Yu Menglong was never just a distant figure on a screen. He was a companion, a silent friend who had walked beside them through their struggles. His death created a void that felt deeply personal, as though they had lost someone who had been part of their own journeys. The vigils, the posts, the tears, they were not only acts of grief but acts of gratitude, a way of honoring the kindness and authenticity he had given to the world. In uniting across borders and languages, the fans showed that his influence transcended fame, turning his memory into a shared light. Even in absence, Yu Menglong continued to bring people together, proving that his spirit would never truly fade. Behind the heartbreaking shock of Yu Menglong's passing lies a truth that the industry often whispers about but rarely confronts openly: the crushing weight of expectation carried by those who live in the spotlight. For years, Yu Menglong had been admired for his calm smile, his gentle presence, and the way he appeared to shoulder success with grace. Yet behind that image was a man who gave endlessly of himself, constantly striving to perfect his craft, endlessly rehearsing, pushing through fatigue, and putting the needs of his fans above his own well-being. He rarely spoke about his struggles, but those close to him described a dedication so relentless it blurred the line between passion and sacrifice. The real mystery, then, is not why he left so suddenly, but how he endured so long under such immense pressure. The industry is built on constant visibility, always appearing flawless, always delivering more. And Yu Menglong embodied this commitment to the very end. His silence about his personal battles was not indifference, but an act of love for his audience, sparing them from the darker corners of his reality. It is in that silence that the weight of his burden becomes clear, and it is perhaps the most painful revelation of all. His death is not only a personal loss, but a reminder of the unseen struggles that so many artists face. It challenges us to look beyond the glamour and recognize the vulnerability behind the curtain. For fans, this truth deepens the grief, but it also turns sorrow into reflection. How do we support the people who give us their art, their voice, their presence? Yu Menglong's story is a call for compassion, a reminder that even the brightest lights need space to rest. In acknowledging this, we honor not just his legacy, but his humanity. Even in the silence left behind by Yu Menglong's passing, his presence continues to resonate through the lives he touched and the art he created. His legacy is not frozen in the roles he once played or the songs he recorded. It is alive in the inspiration that now fuels others to dream, to create, and to live with kindness. Producers have spoken of plans to preserve his unfinished projects, treating them not as incomplete fragments, but as precious reminders of his devotion to his craft. Fans have built digital archives of his work, transforming social media into a living museum where memories can be revisited and shared across generations. Every performance rewatched, every lyric replayed, is no longer just entertainment but an act of remembrance, a way of keeping him close. What makes his legacy profound is how it has sparked action beyond the screen. Communities of fans have begun launching scholarships for aspiring artists, donations to mental health initiatives, and creative projects dedicated in his name. These acts of service are proof that Yu Menglong's influence extends far beyond fame. It is being transformed into compassion, giving new hope to those who might otherwise have been overlooked. Younger stars like Tian Xuning and Ziyu now carry his spirit openly, promising to embody the perseverance and sincerity that defined him. Through their growth, his guidance continues to echo, as if he is still walking beside them. His absence is undeniable, yet his impact endures in every story told, every heart moved, every new beginning sparked by his example. A true legacy is not measured by years but by the light one leaves behind, and Yu Menglong's light shines brighter than ever. Though he is no longer here to witness it, the world he left continues to be shaped by his values, ensuring that his name and spirit will never fade. Yu Menglong's sudden departure left a silence that words can barely fill. Yet in that silence, millions of voices have risen together. fans, colleagues, friends, each carrying a piece of his light forward. As Ziyu once wrote, "Even if our eyes are filled with tears, our hearts must always remember the smile and kindness he once gave." That is the best way to honor a true friend. And maybe that's the real reason we're talking about him today, not only because of how he died, but because of how he lived. If Yu Menglong's story touched your heart, let his legacy live on by remembering his values: kindness, perseverance, and sincerity. Thank you for watching Update X24H. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay with us for more stories that matter. Your support means the world, and together, we'll keep the light of inspiration alive.